Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Oh, they are not bright, but we figured this, and every day we hope they finally opened a book and said to themselves, today's the day we'll read. Nah. Oh, boy. All right. Before we get into this battle, a little bit of history. Who remembers this? This part. Let's not even worry about the Latinos. Who remembers when Kamala Harris tried this? This was about 2 weeks before the election. You had old Van Jones coming outside saying this was a love letter to black men because we were saying neither one of those parties were giving an agenda for black men. So she figured, along with her white paymasters, they would try to pull this 2 weeks before the election, kind of like what Trump did with the platinum plan 6 weeks before the 2020 election. And for those who remember, we thoroughly torched this. Because for one, you ignored us the entire cycle. And number two, you came out with this. And the last part really pissed everybody off. It says, legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black Americans to succeed in this new industry. When, if you take stock in the history of legalizing marijuana, we know the blue states wanted to do that. That's not the issue. The issue was you trying to put black men into this area where we're not even represented by a large swath, for one, and two, the real estate for that is not as open as they like to think it is. Plus, for me personally, and I never said this, they were going to try to legalize weed, and then when all the negatives start coming out, they get to blame us for it. And thankfully, the black community had enough wherewithal to not allow that perception to go through. Why did I bring that up? Well, we get to this. And yet again, we have another issue that shows two things. One, MAGA is not as cohesive as we thought it was. And number two, and more importantly, MAGAs are dumb. But it's to be expected from a bunch of grifters. The word around town is Trump is looking at legal ways and policy ways to decriminalize pot. He thinks this is going to appeal to the libertarians. He thinks this is going to appeal to liberals because he's going to need them if he wants the House and the Senate to stay Republican. He's going to need them. Which, when I talked about the crime bill that we're going to discuss tomorrow, I told y'all during the election cycle as well, all these things are leading up to that. You got to give a little so you can enforce a lot. So it says, Trump is privately mulling how to declare pot a less dangerous drug. Okay. Now, for someone with a Jamaican background, I don't care because, as we'll see later, Jamaica always has this stereotype of being, outside of Amsterdam, the weed capital of the world. Everybody down there smokes all day, and it's just what it is. The reason why I brought this up is because maggots decided they're going to weigh in on this subject. And when you see their takes, you're going to understand why I say they don't read or they don't research. Michael Knowles was the first person that popped in on this. He says Not that I trust CNN's reporting, but on the off chance this is true, I'd encourage the White House to nix it. Liberalizing the law around Haitian oregano gives big Kim Kardashian energy, not the sort of thing people voted for in November. Haitian oregano. So let's understand. It's been almost a year since that whole Haitians are eating dogs and cats thing, and they still got Haitians on their mind. Don't know why, but, you know, we're going to let them have it. I'm sure the comments were sensible. Somebody wrote a better headline. Trump is privately mulling how to declare the tobacco age back to 18. Huh. Okay. So y'all are going after weed, right? But teenagers can still get vapes. There's no way to strengthen the complexities that they'd have to go through to achieve this. No way. You're worried about weed because we know what that entails. We know this. Boy, you are in for a shock when you realize how many conservatives smoke weed. I don't, but a lot of my friends do, and every single one of them voted for Trump. He wrote, hypocrisy is the tribute vice pays to virtue. For those who ever thought Michael Knowles was bright, I understand. We saw the video where he tried to dance and it was terrible, but you know, we get it. Trump is vehemently anti-drugs and J.D. Vance even more so due to both having addicts in their close family. No way they will change any drug laws during their terms. Sure? Okay. I'm not a fan of legalization. Sure, there are tax dollars and regulation benefits, but the risks are real too. More impaired driving, higher dependency rates, and a black market that never went away. To me, the downsides outweigh the upsides. Okay. Y'all still don't understand that they're trying to legalize this so they can profit off of it. That's the only reason why they want to touch this, but you know. If they could legalize cocaine, they would have done it. I mean, technically they did before when it was in Coca-Cola, but if they could outward the white booger sugar, they would do it because it's the government. But we're going to go from there. So this person named Gary Piper wrote, nobody, and I mean nobody who drinks alcohol should open their mouths on this one. Marijuana is safer than booze. Again, that's an objective thing. You can argue it whichever way. We all know why they would never outlaw booze again. There's billions that they're getting. Even when they try to boycott Anheuser-Busch, there's still billions coming. NFL markets it, the NBA markets it, hockey markets it. They would never allow that. And the market is so gangster, you don't even see wine commercials anymore. Because they have such a lock with the advertising firms and the cable companies. But okay, that's fine. So there was that. Now we're going to go back to this one. He quote tweeted it, this Michael Knowles, and said, by virtually every measure, booze is much better for society than marijuana. So now we have so now we have conservatives they're promoting alcohol. Their president who doesn't drink, y'all are underneath him, metaphorically and figuratively. He doesn't drink, but y'all are promoting booze to try to dunk on marijuana. I tell you, they sound like liberals, but you know, you say that, then they get mad at you. These are y'all conformed liberals. Okay. Again, as we say, they're not bright. This tweet pissed me off. And number one reason is my people come from Jamaica. He said, would you rather live in 1950s America or Jamaica? Now, if we're going to compare it by era, 1950s Jamaica was beautiful. I've seen the pictures. I've heard the stories. Before the race riot down there in 65, Jamaica was beautiful. Hell, y'all's Sir Broccoli created James Bond in Jamaica. You know, one of your white supremacist symbols of peak masculinity. Fine. That's fine. He wants to live in 1950s America. They think they're making points and they're just showing how racist they are. Because he knows what happened in the 1950s. History books are still around. They haven't burned them yet and they haven't banned them yet. He's telling you a lot. Weed culture was not that big in Jamaica, much to a lot of people would think. Mainly it was the Rastas that were smoking weed down there, not the totality of the people. But then again, stereotypes live. Can't do nothing about it except to make sure we call them out when they're egregious. I understand having big platforms and people take y'all's word for law, but just like when Nick Fuentes said that Africa never had a written language until the Europeans got there, even though on stream I proved that that was a lie. You shouldn't believe everything you hear somebody say without fact checking it. But, you know, they don't want to because they figure if you have this big enough platform, you know what you're talking about. Fine. So somebody, now we all know who this is. This is the QAnon shaman, the fool that ran in the Capitol and then got arrested, did time, and then came out as a liberal. He said neither. That's the thing about you people. It's either this or it's that. You have no imagination. Think beyond the box. He said crystal meth. Oh, God. Oh, man. Michael Knowles is dumb, but we knew this. Okay, we keep going. This fool said rock and roll is better than reggae. Our blacks are better than their blacks. Okay, Okay, so we're going to compare Black Americans to Caribbeans. Now you got the troll white boys on this. Okay. Again, Black people can have discussions among themselves with melanated immigrants. Here come white people to just ruin it. By the way, white people smoke more weed than Black people, but you know, we not even gonna go there. It wasn't white folk who wanted to legalize it, talking about they need it for glaucoma. They could do it in public and just say they have glaucoma, cop leave them alone. Black people say that they got glaucoma, have the doctor's note and the prescription, they going run in talking about you smoking an illicit drug in public. Isn't that something? But then again, this is them. So we've already established that Michael Knowles is dumb. He knows nothing about weed culture. He doesn't know anything about legalized cannabis. None of this. It's just funny how fentanyl just disappeared now. Now we're talking about weed. I just find it funny. But all right. Cool. But not to be outdone, because this is Michael Knowles, not to be outdone, one of his running buddies came outside and said, I have to chime in on this.
Yes, this is cookies.
Okay, please. Thank you. Jack Psosbiec. I just don't want it. Yes. Jack Psosbiec came outside. Same thing. Trump is considering downgrading marijuana's drug classification per Wall Street Journal. So now CNN and Wall Street Journal said, okay. He said, please no, I don't want my kids to have to smell it everywhere. It's already out of control. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Sir, first off, it's not, okay, so they think legalizing it or downgrading it, what I should say, downgrading it, everybody's just gonna be around smoking it. Let's help you. Now, it's not the same thing, but I'm just gonna use an example. Remember when Georgia said that they were gonna, you don't even need to have a weapons carry permit down here, right? Everybody thought it was just going to be the Wild West down here. Everybody was just going to shoot everybody. Homicide rates were going to go through the roof. And that was a couple of years ago. That hasn't happened now, has it? Interesting. They really think because if this goes through, everybody's just going to start smoking weed. Like, most people do it in their house. They do it on their property. They think that they put their kids on the swing, somebody's just going to be next to them smoking weed. Oh, Lord. They're so slow. But I get it. I get it. Cassandra McDonald, who has been known to lie, said, I went to a youth fair carnival yesterday and the whole place stunk of weed. Now we know that's a lie. By the way, she blocked me, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. Because I called her out a year ago for some lie she told. But that's okay. This person said, yes, terrible idea, but it's not the left doing it. Then we get to people like Michael Flynn's son, who is going to just griff off what people are saying just so he can get some money. He says, can I stand smelling it out in public areas? Definitely don't want my 8-year-old son to either. Where are y'all going? Now, according to y'all around your race majority. So where are y'all smelling this quote unquote weed all over the place? So that means that it's y'all's people in your areas, your enclaves that are doing this. So suffice to say that y'all have a problem with weed. Even though Michael Knowles and Jack Psosbiec tried to dog whistle on black people. But I get it. But I get it. Why is he working so hard to piss off the majority of his base? Has he learned nothing from Colorado? Because he doesn't care about y'all. He doesn't care about MAGA. He never did. Actually, Safaka, there actually is a race distinction. Because when you say the word weed, you don't think of white people first. You think of black people. So there is a race distinction. Oh my God. I love when he tell you it's not about race until certain topics come up. Then they want to try to play like it's not race. Okay. Well, Sparky Miss, thank you for your service, but the problem is not him decriminalizing it. It's the fact that MAGA is trying to sell it as this is something bad. Which is something else I've told y'all. They don't like y'all veterans. They don't. They think y'all are a scourge. Look, now he getting upset. Look, Safaka, you can get upset all you want. I said what I said. Now prove me wrong. Well, that was Safaka. That's the ultimate plan. He wants to tax it. He wants to tax it more. All those dispensaries gonna go out of business, or they're gonna have to go under government control. That's what he wants. What do you mean? How you gonna tax it? It's not hard. They tax everything else, right? Don't think that this government hasn't figured out a way to tax medicine. I'm talking about the Trump administration. I'm talking about Congress. Don't think they haven't figured out that loophole yet. They want to tax everything to get everybody compliant. And it's just funny that MAGA now all of a sudden is out here trying to run interference, saying how bad this is. But I know you're not upset. I don't know why you would think that, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Continuing. The concept of legal marijuana worked well for the wealthiest Americans. It's been destructive for everyone else. It has led to greater criminality. Libertarian drug dealers want this. They voted for Trump only for the drug privileges. Keep that in mind. Now, libertarians, somebody taking a shot at y'all. Y'all better go handle that. I ain't got that. Safaka, nobody said you were upset. All I said was prove me wrong. But okay, that's fine. How about public smoking bans to include the smoking of anything, including tobacco and vaping? I hate the smell of that too. Number one, they have lobbyists. That would never happen. As much as people hate smoking nowadays, since they banned it in public places, public buildings, and restaurants and bars of that nature, they still make billions of dollars. The government is not giving that up. George Elliott asks, how is it being downgraded? They're saying Trump has the ability to downgrade it to a level 3 drug, which means that you will not be, you'll have more legal recourse if they try to prosecute you for having it. It's basically a step to legalize it so they can tax it. Because that's something they've been trying to do since the 90s. But, you know. Let me see what this one says. I'm sure this one was engaging. This is too much BS now. No way can anyone be smelling weed outside so strong as they are saying. Odors dissipate in the air outdoors. There are more air molecules than burning weed molecules out there. Logically, the weed odor would be less as there is more air in the outdoor environment. As you do not manufacture weed, the growing would not cause the smell, but smoke would. But once the odor hits outdoors, it would dissipate. If it does not dissipate, then there's still a flow of something being emitted to the outdoors similar to chimney smoke. Chemical smell permeating through large outdoor area equals meth lab or some other type of drug lab in the home, not weed, but no one calls the police. Huh? Cigarettes bring in too much tax revenue. The government cares about your health. Where it's great in Denver, they don't call it the Green Mile for nothing. My podunk town does this already. It's only medical here. I'll blow a cig in your face. Yeah, and you'll end up on the ground. Well, Safaka, that was the plan up until January 20th, 2029. Any little thing he does, let the people who ride with him amplify it like it's a good thing, like them tariffs. And they're going to learn very quick that it doesn't work. But that's Jack over there trying to show how smart he is. And suffice to say, he failed very badly. He said something else that y'all need to look. He also said this. States with legal weed, you can just smell it all over in public. Oh, man. I tell you, these influencer agencies are working overtime for these people. Jesus. Can't take kids anywhere. Are you serious? Well, look. I just went outside today with my daughter. I didn't smell it one time. I went to a small little outdoor market. Didn't smell it. I've been walking around this entire city of Atlanta. Haven't smelled it. Now again, I was also in New York City. You weren't seeing people walking on the street just smoking weed. But again, they think that if he does do this, everybody's just going to toke up, which is hilarious. This is them again doing doomsday scenarios in their head. Now, these are the same people that said Trump loves everybody. He's trying to help people. Okay, fine. We have a large swath of people that want to decriminalize weed. Why would you be against this? Don't y'all need the space for all these illegals? It'd be less people in jail. It would be a big middle finger to the Democrats. Why are you running interference on this? But, you know. Weed makes people dumb and lazy. We need less of that in society. Sir, the water in Florida makes y'all dumb and lazy.
How much will you put away?
The water contains alligator piss. And we all know alligators are not particularly fast creatures. I'm just saying. And with the amount of urine that these alligators secrete in that water, it gave them the ability to climb chain link fences. I'm just saying. I don't disagree with this. Weed needs to be legislated more like alcohol. So you want to put it, so they want it in front of Congress. Okay. It's okay in licensed establishments or at home and being used responsibly. But as with alcohol, it shouldn't be allowed in public areas where others are subjected to it. So we should just close all bars then. I tell you, Now, it's probably a bot account. I'm just saying. But whoever typed this, they're not smart. Our bar's not on public streets, so we should just ban bars, right? Restaurants shouldn't be allowed to serve alcohol, right? Outdoor patios, you should be banned from taking your drink outside to the patio if you want some air. I'm just saying. Because that's where they're gonna go with this. Yes, in certain jurisdictions, yes, you can. But it's been known to happen. I've done ball crawls. I've done them. People walking up and down the streets with cups in their hand. Cops don't say nothing. You're right, in certain jurisdictions. Point still stands. But anyway. Now they're cursing. We're not going to read that. How am I making a false equivalency? Jesus Christ. Now I'm making false equivalencies. Isn't that great? We love the debates here. Go ahead. Show me where I made the false show me where I made a false equivalency. Our bar's not on public streets. We understand they're private businesses. Are they not on public streets? And you just agreed with me that in certain jurisdictions, you can actually go outside with the bottle or the glass in your hand and cops don't stop you. Correct? This is why you don't play with the government. This is why I rail against the government. They take both sides of the argument. You don't know what the rules are. And then when you explain the rules and show them how there is a fallacy in it, they want to arrest you. They want to tell you that you're wrong, we're right, because we have the authority. And then you're just going back and forth. When did I say there's no such thing as bars? Oh, no. When did I say there's no such thing as bars? Anyway, keep going. Whatever. Somebody brought up Burger King. But that's not going to get you high. Unless you're high. But anyway, Jack Psosbiec. Again, this is one of the Binder Bros. Just want y'all to understand, this is one of the Epstein Binder Bros. So we already know he's not smart. But that's okay. I can't wait to do this tomorrow. That's going to be fun. We're not going to show you that yet. I want to look at that story, though. I want to see what they said. Now, which one was it? Was it? No, that's the original. It might have been in this one. Yeah, it was in this one. I want to see what CNN said. I'm interested. So it says, Trump is privately mulling how to declare weed a less pot. Because they got to call it with pot. Oh, it's only for subscribers? Cool. We're going to log in. I wonder if they use the cable. Let me see. Shit. I don't think they use the cable. Let me see if Wall Street Journal. Let me see. I think I still have it. Is that better? I don't know why the fuck this. Is that better? Okay. I don't know why there was no sound, but all right. Okay. So July 2nd, Wall Street. Now this is an opinion piece. Wall Street Journal say this Charles Lehman. He says Trump shouldn't do this. Whether to loosen the government's ultra-tight controls on marijuana is among the matters President Trump inherited from Joe Biden. You don't even need that goddamn air. All right. Under law, marijuana is a Schedule I substance, meaning it has no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. But people are taking it for, never mind. No accepted medical use. Okay, sure. All right. Mr. Biden initiated a process to move pot to Schedule III, thereby labeling it a medicine with only moderate abuse potential. Mr. Trump must decide whether to move ahead with the change. He shouldn't. Rescheduling would bolster a socially disastrous legal weed industry that has spread crime and disorder in the streets. Containing the chaos instead of spreading it would be in line with the president's mandate. Rescheduling wouldn't mean legalization. Marijuana would still be a federally controlled substance subject to the same restrictions as drugs like ketamine and anabolic steroids. Rescheduling also wouldn't mean increasing the medical availability of marijuana. Medical cannabis is legal in 40 states, and the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment, which became law in 2014, prohibits spending money to enforce federal laws against these operations. Marijuana is already more available to medical users than other Schedule III substances. The primary effect of rescheduling, as the Congressional Research Service has shown, will be a tax break to fuel the growth of state legal marijuana businesses. Means state-run marijuana businesses. That's because a provision of the tax code section 280E, which provides that businesses can't deduct the cost of trafficking in Schedule I or II controlled substances, but that's not the case for Schedule III. That affects state legal marijuana businesses. Because of 280E, these firms can pay effective tax rates as high as 70%. Shifting pot to Schedule III would alleviate the tax burden and give the firms more room to operate. That would be good if these were normal companies and if their business wasn't socially and individually harmful, but the state legal marijuana business has been a catastrophe. Legalization has increased rates of marijuana addiction, typically called marijuana use disorder, including rates of heavy use among teens. State legal businesses have a profit-motivated reason to nurture addiction. Due to legalization, today's pot is far more potent than it was decades ago. Research links marijuana use, especially in young adulthood, to IQ loss, schizophrenia, heart attack, stroke, and lung disease. As important, legalization is already socially toxic. Research by the Kansas City Federal Reserve found it has increased homelessness, addiction, and arrest by double-digit percentages. Other research on Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia, finds that dispensary proximity casually reduces property values. There's also the odor, which nearly half of New York City residents reported smelling often in a recent poll. Now, that's bullshit. Oh, God. Here we go. But all right. This is New York. It's 8 million people. It's okay. Where y'all at? That you smelling it all over the place. So 4 million people, almost, are smelling this. Okay, fine. We'll let them have it. Legalization hasn't even killed the black market. By expanding the consumer base while regulating the supply, it has made the illicit alternative more appealing than ever. Cannabis forecaster Whitney Economics has projected that in 2026, the black market will still account for 60% of sales. Much of that money flows to Chinese criminal groups, which, quote, have come to dominate the cultivation and distribution of marijuana throughout the United States, according to the Drug Enforcement Administration's recent National Drug Threat Assessment. Maybe that is why a majority of Americans now say that pot is bad for its users and society, according to Gallup. The rescheduling decision rests with the Justice and Health and Human Services departments, which both take marching orders from the president. Mr. Trump should end Mr. Biden's dangerous social experiment. And of course, he works at the Manhattan Institute. There you go. Makes sense. Another one of them conservative think tanks. But all right. Said you had a compound fracture in your left leg on morphine for a week while in the hospital. I got out and immediately went to gas. Way safer for my body. They don't want that. So Wall Street Journal been on this. They got one from June 10th. May 30th. So every month they're doing this. I think they might have a stake in this. He said he stays lit, also prevents PSYOP programming great by product and benefit. All right. Look, I ain't got no dog in this fight. I don't. I don't care about weed, and I'm not against somebody smoking weed. I'm not. Do your thing. But we just know that they just want money off of it. This is all it is. Oh, somebody posted screenshots. Let me look. It looks like the same thing. Here we go. Here's his famous lines. We need to look at that. That's something we're going to look at. Seven months into his second term, Trump's inaction so far on marijuana remains a notable unkept commitment by a president who has acted swiftly on other campaign pledges. He just wanted the money. He don't care about this. Let's see. Scott's Miracle Grow CEO James Hagedorn told Fox Business last week that Trump has privately assured him and others multiple times that he plans to reclassify marijuana to a less controlled category of substances. The 157-year-old lawn and garden giant has become a leader in the nascent cannabis industry with fast-growing hydroponics business that Federal Election Commission records show donated $500,000 to a Trump-aligned super PAC last year. Jesus. That's crazy. But, you know, I don't see why Jack Probiotic and Michael I don't knows anything. I don't know why they're going so hard against this pause. I don't understand. I think he wants it there because I don't know, maybe his people behind him want to control people more. I don't know. I just found it strange that those two were going in and arguing with people. And then people tell these lies. Mike Tyson, we are with you 100%. He wrote this on August 9th. Okay, so now you got the celebrities coming outside. Millie Weaver, I support Trump in downgrading marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 drugs. Americans don't need to be rotting in prison for years, costing taxpayer money over a herb that is impossible to overdose on, has medicinal benefits. The same people whining about marijuana legalization are ironically some of the biggest alcoholics. Alcohol causes more deaths from overdoses and drunk driving, yet I don't hear you arguing it should be illegal. So drop the sanctimonious act. The left would lose their shit if Trump legalized marijuana. Why do y'all care so much about the left? Jesus. I don't know. Gunther Engelman, this retard. It's 2025. It's time to reclassify marijuana sensibly. I swear, I told y'all about these influencer agencies. By the way, this Gunther Eagleman idiot, he's part of that. He actually got caught. That's why I keep mentioning that. Reschedule marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Keep public places safe. Empower states to govern themselves. Okay. So last year, Trump coming out in favor of marijuana, especially funny if you know how much his new right, particularly online right fans hate it, but he force feeds them this stuff and they impotently vent their spleens at whoever is criticizing him instead. Well, Trump wants to make marijuana completely legal. That's not what he wants to do, but okay, we'll let you word it however you want so you can get engagement. And a bunch of freedom-fighting, patriotic humans are totally against it. Why? I don't know. I don't know why they're against freedom of somebody smoking an herb that God put on this earth, because these conservatives don't like people having fun that they're not a part of or they can control. But the next couple of days, you will see this 80-20 propaganda from the Trump inner circle. These 80-20 numbers are directly from True Leave. There are 0 studies that show 80% of Americans support weed legalization. No, 80% of the people they polled are in favor of it. Well, I forgot about Charlie Kirk saying something. He says, I hope this doesn't happen. We need to protect public spaces for kids. Now, remember what I told those who were here last week, that everything they're going to do from now on to restrict our movements is going to be done under the guise of protecting the children. We need to protect public spaces for kids. Everything already smells like weed, which is ridiculous. How does everything smell like weed? I tell you, they dumb. Everything? Maybe that's why he don't want black pilots, because they think they just smoking weed in the cockpit. Maybe that's what it is. I bet you Charlie be sitting up in them hotel rooms at the Turning Point USA conferences and he toking. He used the pipe though, because he don't know how to puff give. We would have said he did this in college, but he dropped out. Let's make it harder to ruin public spaces, not easier. Government overreach ruins public places and public spaces. So this Tim Road person said, Charlie, are you for individual liberties or not? Marijuana should not be a Schedule 1 drug like fentanyl and heroin. Trump is reading the room. I respectfully disagree with you on this one, Charlie. Free marijuana will be handed out on Trump's inauguration day. Yeah. See? Them want to be black pages. AI is dangerous, by the way. President Donald Trump doesn't want his legacy to include rising rates of THC addiction and cannabis-induced psychosis among young Americans. And he knows this Soros/globalist-funded industry fueled by libertarian stoners weakens our country from within. Okay. So Donald Trump met with weed pushers, True Leaf, before coming out pro-pot. This company is so big it operates more stores than the largest liquor store chain. Yet Trump talks like there is no medicinal weed in Florida. Floridians are being sold out. Damn. Look how many dispensaries they got. Look along the East Coast, the Atlantic coast. Look at that. That's crazy. Damn. Somebody said it's mostly the pharmaceutical companies that lobby to keep marijuana a Schedule 1 drug. It shouldn't be. There's a reason why Democrats haven't rescheduled it. They take pharma money. Trump is basically saying F you to big pharma. Didn't Trump take big pharma money this go around? Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Since Trump is still pushing to reclassify marijuana, our left is going to throw away their bongs and pipes because Orange Man bad. All right, Sticks and Hammer, you got it. And it goes on and on and on. Anyway, somebody brought up the Epstein files. Listen, we'll be just as shocked as everybody else on the planet if he actually releases something of substance. I think you guys should just move off from that for now. Just for now. Hold up, Leon. So you telling me the second hand is gonna force you to go beat people up? That doesn't sound cool. Card. There's nothing to release until he gives Ghislaine the pardon. There's nothing to release. Think about it like this, since we're going to talk about Epstein briefly. If he's already confirmed that he's on that list, why don't he just release it? They already know you were on there. Just let the chips fall where they may. Sean Dixon, I already did that stream. Correct. He's just as corrupt as the Democrats, and he's in power now. He doesn't want to release those files until either Ghislaine gets out of jail and lets her say it, because she already put out the Iggy that he didn't do anything weird, or they doctor it enough that it looks real, and it's just going to be a bunch of celebrities from Hollywood and some politicians. And conspicuously, most of them will be Democrats or liberals. So MAGA can go after celebrities and make hella content and hella money, harassing celebrities. That's all it is. But, I mean, if y'all thought he was going to release this, he would have did it the first day. But again, he said a lot of things he was going to do the first day, and we're now 7 months in, almost. Only Trump could do this. It needs to happen. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sure the comments were great in there. It apparently allows the big fish like Pfizer to overtake the small fish. Pfizer wants to make more money. Trump during the campaign, when seeking your vote, promised he'd unlock the medical use of the marijuana to a Schedule III drug. Now he has the power to make changes. Mary says he'll look at it. Somebody said, Charlie Kirk, you're clutching pearls over Trump possibly moving marijuana from Schedule I, where it is absurdly sits next to heroin, to Schedule III, which simply acknowledges medical use and low risk. This isn't about turning parks into Grateful Dead concerts. It's about ending decades of federal hypocrisy while states have already proven legalization doesn't trigger societal collapse. Griping about the smell is a stretch, especially when alcohol, perfectly legal and far deadlier, turns sidewalks into fight clubs and puke puddles. But those are fun. Don't deny the college kids that beautiful feeling of waking up on grass after a bender. Come on, don't do that. That's a rite of passage. Especially when they take that Everclear or the absinthe. Parks have already no smoking rules for anything, weed included. If keeping kids safe is the real goal, the bigger fights are school shootings and opioid mess, not a plant that's never racked up a body count. Well, I beg to differ on that, but okay. I'm sure there's been crimes done at the behest of weed, including people losing their lives, but you know. This isn't protection, Charlie. It's old-fashioned moral scolding dressed up as concern. He's not bright, but we knew this. Marijuana is a gateway drug. People that use it smell gross and get wrinkles fast, and that's why they have to rely on other drugs after to forget nobody wants to be around them. You got to be a bot account. Yep. I heard a woman say she was dropping her kids off at kindergarten. The rest of the children all smell like weed. Where are you? Okay. They just saying anything just to get some money off of X. Anyway, there's that. So before I go, because we have to put this on, I am going to, hold on. I'll let y'all answer the Q&A. Y'all can, for the next few seconds, debate amongst yourselves if that's a good thing to do or a bad thing to do. If it is, hey, do your thing. Just make sure your arguments are cogent. If you're against it, just make sure your arguments are cogent. But hopefully you learned something. If you did, I've done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Tomorrow, we will have fun because we will be talking about this press conference that Trump wants to run tomorrow, talking about whatever plans he has for D.C., which I think is leading up to a crime bill, and D.C. is going to be the testing ground. So whenever that happens, we may break early and cover it, or if we'll just do the live and just do a replay. We'll see how it goes. But we will be on StreamYard because we will be using the drops. But anyway, y'all, enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay cool where you are. Stay warm if you're in a colder climate in the Southern Hemisphere. And y'all take care. Stay safe. And you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence. And if that includes getting high, that's cool.